There has been a worrying trend in child sexual abuse, with girls as young as 9 being impregnated and giving birth. Two glaring instances have been reported in Zimbabwe in the past month, one from Cholocho and another from Bindura, and many more such cases continue to be unmasked. Whilst abortion is illegal in Zimbabwe, is it safe for 9-year-olds to be carrying pregnancy full term, especially when there are alleged cases of incest rape? What can we do to hold accountable parents who cover up such issues? In this episode, we engage health experts and civil society organizations on the physical, emotional, and psychological implications of pregnancy on 9-year-olds. Health expert Dr. Hlambelo sheds more light on the issue.
Dr. Hlambelo speaking. So, as a medical doctor and also as someone who have interest, like we have 100% interest on maternal and child health, I would want to comment on the rising of or an upsurge of the what we call minors getting pregnant. So I think most of the people who are listening to this, they have heard about a 9-year-old who was pregnant in Bulawayo. And I think we are receiving a lot of other stories, even in Africa as a whole, of minors, or what we call a minor is a child who's actually who's a patient or is a person who's actually below 16 years, who's a girl. So we call them minors. In some countries, they depend with different countries, but every teenagers in general, they are referred as minors. And these 9-year-olds, to be specific, they are actually children, to be specific. Like we classify them at pediatrics. They're not even mothers at all. They're still children playing with dolls and, doing all sorts of games for children because they are still very, very young. So it's actually a worrying trend, considering that we refer or review these 9-year-olds as children. We are saying that a child is actually getting pregnant. So we are saying this is a children who's nine, who is a child. This is a child who's 9 year old and is actually having another child in her womb or in her tummy. Like she's actually carrying another child, but she's a child. So as you can see, the main issue now, or the implication that has on this child is one, the psychological impact of the pregnancy on its own, because we refer to all pregnant mothers as people or as patients, because we know that pregnancy have a lot of changes that it does to these pregnant women, and we refer pregnancy as an illness because they'll be having different kinds of illnesses. They might have stomach ache, they might be vomiting, they might have backache. They have a lot of ailments when they are pregnant. And considering this is a 9-year-old who's now facing all those changes on her, like they are now getting all those sicknesses, the morning sicknesses, all those uh, different things that is happening into them. So it's actually a big thing, and in that it actually affect them even emotionally if they actually have to undergo these certain changes on here. Then besides the psychological aspect, we also have the general health of a person, because we are saying that if a child is getting pregnant, they are 9 years, and we know that the date of menstrual cycle, or the what we call the 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 first day of menstrual cycle, or you say menake, the first time that when someone goes to a menstrual period, it's actually differs in different populations. Some starts at even 13 years, but now we are seeing these patients or these children getting to menarche or getting their menstrual cycles earlier. And there is also an issue of some of these girls, they're actually having big bodies, so that people, they view them as adults, but they are still children. I think we need to support these children, and we need to continue giving them lessons. We need to impart knowledge on the dangers of being pregnant before you actually have developed well. Because in terms of development, these minors, they are still developing, because according to the development for both physical and different structures of the body, even brain development, it actually goes on up to the age of 20, 21. The brain is still developing. So considering someone is 9 years, the brain is still developing, they don't know anything, and they now get pregnant. So it's now a challenge. So I think the best way is actually to change our policies to make sure that the perpetrators, they're brought to book. Everyone, they need to know that we are not supposed when they are faced with these challenges. But the main important thing is prevention. So prevention is better than cure at the end of the day. So we need to prevent these pregnancies. So that's why we start with our policies, our policymakers. We talk to the right people on the ground. We make sure that any perpetrator is actually brought into book. They put in jail even for life, you know, if the law is against. So the law have to be against these things so that people out there, they will be afraid to actually engage into sexual activities with these minors. So we need to actually first of all instill fears in these perpetrators. Then after instilling fears, they need to learn as well, because we can't say that a normal person is actually sleeping with a 9-year-old minor. It's not proper. So which means that person, the mental problem, they might have a mental problem, or they actually don't have a knowledge on that this person is minor, and it's actually non-cultural. It's uncultural for someone to do that. So we need to put those things in place. So even if the pregnancy happens now, we're saying that we didn't prevent the pregnancy. These children, they need to be supported both socially. If they can actually be changed, the environment that they are staying, they can actually be changed the environment, they stay somewhere else so that they don't have that trauma, the post-traumatic stress disorder that that might have. So if they change the environment, they can actually get more help, they can expose to the new environment, and they can actually try to forget about the bad experience of being pregnant while they are young.
Women and girls' rights activist Millicent Nuche expressed concerns over the worrying trend in minors getting pregnant. Let's hear her speak.
It's quite worrisome that we are hearing cases of children as young as 9 becoming mothers, giving birth, when we know very well that their bodies are not fully developed enough to be carrying babies to full term. It's by grace that this child managed to do such. But we are hearing so many cases, they are sprouting from everywhere, different communities within Zimbabwe, where children are being raped and end up um, becoming mothers, falling pregnant. We have a crisis in our communities. And I really think that as society, government, and stakeholders, there's need for intensive engagements where we come up with solid and possible solutions to this cancer that we now have in our communities. We have organizations that work with children, that protect children. Also, we have the government, the Ministry of Social Welfare. There's need for them and us to come together collectively and find ways to enforce through responsible authorities like ZRP and obviously our courts, stiffer penalties that curb the rise of sexual abuse and also incest rape. It is taboo in our culture for a father, a brother, or anyone else to engage in sexual activity with a relative with a child who is just a child. You are making the child to become a mother when they don't even know that they are still children and they are becoming mothers. It's so unfair. Their youth has been taken away. They can't play like other children. They are becoming mothers when it's not time for them. Perpetrators should be, I think they deserve a death sentence because they would have killed the life of that child. It's sad, it's really sad. What has happened to our humanity? What has happened to our cultural beliefs? Incest is taboo. There's a cancer in our communities. Mothers, it is our right and responsibility to protect our children. Children shouldn't feel are intimidated or are afraid to speak up, they should know body boundaries. They should speak up against such.